It's time to share secrets and insights from fellow entrepreneurs. If you're looking to grow or start a business and you're a game changer, then keep listening to Avanti Entrepreneur for great advice from your host, Dave Mammano, America's entrepreneur coach.
Hey, Avanti Tribe, Dave Mammano here. Just want to thank our sponsor, Paychex. You know, Paychex, they make it simple for businesses of all sizes to pay and manage their team. They make payroll easy with employee pay options, including direct deposit, checks, pay cards, and so much more. Founded over 4 decades ago to relieve the complexity of running a business so that the owners can focus on what matters most. Above all else, and more than any other company, Paychex makes it simple. Visit AvantiEntrepreneurGroup.com. Go to our partner link and check them out. They're offering you a free month of payroll just for giving them a shot as an Avanti Tribe member. Give them a shot, folks. They really help this podcast to be possible. Really appreciate Paychex. Now, enjoy the show. Hello and welcome to the Avanti Entrepreneur Podcast. I am Dave Mammano, your host, and we are here to help entrepreneurial achievers and business owners and leaders move forward so that they can reach their potential. I do this by interviewing the nation's best business movers and shakers. And I should say not only nation, I should say North America, because today I have a great Canadian on the show, and her name is Paola Girotti. Paola, how are you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hi, David. Thank you for having me from the north.
I am so excited to have you. You are in the Toronto area, but your specific town is not Toronto, right?
That's correct. I live in the Niagara region.
My
companies right now are all in Toronto.
Yep. And I'm in Rochester, close to Buffalo. You're close to Buffalo. We're kind of neighbors, right?
Definitely neighbors. You're Italian. I'm Italian.
With a name like Paola Girotti, you're Italian. I never would have known that. And everybody, it's not Paula, it's Paola, Paola. That is the very Italian spelling, right? So Paola, I'm going to read your bio. I'm going to do an overview of your bio because it's so vast here. We're going to dig into a little bit more. And you've got such a great story. You've created something from scratch that you had a personal experience with, and you made a business out of it. And now you are franchising it around the world. And so you're just rocking it. So I'm so excited to dig into it. But a little bit about Paola. So back in 1985, when Paola was growing up in St. Catharines, she began to experience body hair growth at an early age. As she entered her teenage years, these physical changes were making her less confident in her own skin. Hair removal is a very personal and uncomfortable conversation to have when you're young. And on top of that, Paola has sensitive skin. Shaving your hair was becoming too frequent of a task, and waxing was causing skin irritation and ingrown hairs. Paola's mom looked for other hair removal solutions. She ended up discovering sugaring. I took her to a sugarist who turned out to be a pioneer in the industry of body hair removal. The method was all natural and less painful, and it turned out that sugaring was the perfect solution for her. So now for over almost 2 decades, Paola has witnessed a change, and women are finally feeling more confident to discuss their facial and body hair. One by one, her team is helping people become beautiful and feeling good about it. And as the owner and operator, she loves interacting with clients face to face. She is passionate about empowering women, creating a safe and supportive work environment that compensates fairly and provides the whole staff with an opportunity to invest and save. She believes in the power of volunteering and has invested in an employee-supported volunteer program and partners in her own community. Her company, Sugar Moon, has gone far beyond the first salon, with now locations across Toronto, a line of natural beauty and skincare products, and now franchises in Canada, United States, and Britain, so that more people can access a sweet alternative to hair removal. Is that your tagline, a sweet alternative to hair removal?
Yes, we are the sweet alternative.
I love it.
Thank you.
I love your story because I have a personal love for people who create a business out of I'll say a challenge and a problem, an experience that they had, and then they were able to fix it, and then they became such I'll say an ambassador that they actually started spreading the solution to other people through the power of entrepreneurship, right? So a few months ago, I had a woman named Sarah Goodenough is her name, and she was very, very overweight, right? And to the point where she was early 20s and had, diabetes and fatty liver disease and just a ton of health problems. And
Wow.
then she tried everything you could think of, Atkins, etc. Finally went to a plant-based diet, right? And literally lost like 170 pounds. And
Wow.
now, and so she made a business out of it, right? So now her business is she pre-prepares plant-based, vegan meals, and people order them. It gets delivered to their house. So if you want to live the vegan lifestyle but not worry about cooking and getting enough protein and etc.
Amazing.
So now that's her living, right? So I love that you went through an experience for you that was painful and personal, and you said, hey, this is something that I can help others with. So it's like a really great crusade you're on. You're not only being an entrepreneur, but you're really taking your personal experience and helping others too. So I just love that. So congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we've subsequently now started our teenage brand called Sweet Moon to really support that age group that I was in at the time that I was struggling with hair, facial hair, etc. And so, we've developed a brochure just specifically for the teenage market. So a little bit lower cost to parents to be able to encourage bringing in their daughters or sons to be able to have access to good and safe hair removal. So that's pretty exciting for us right now.
Cool. Well, let's just talk tactically about hair removal. So, a lot of people will get hair removal through laser, right?
Right.
That's the zapping process of the hair, right? And so, for people that don't know about sugaring, tell us about that process, if you don't mind.
Yeah. So sugaring is basically 3 ingredients, which is sugar, lemon, and water. And typically we cook it to around just before a hardball candy stage. So what's awesome about this is that sugar doesn't actually adhere to the live cell. And so when we apply it, we're really only removing dead cells in the hair. The product is never hot. We're using our hands and a little tiny ball. There's no strips, and it's very hygienic. Basically, it's your sugar, your treatment. And when we're done our treatment with you, the paste is discarded and it biodegrades. So it's a really awesome way to remove hair, and it's a very old technique, right? Like this goes back to when the pharaohs wanted to have no body hair, and so the women would, cook their sugar and go and sugar the pharaohs. So this is definitely not new, but it's something that we've brought back into the mainstream of hair removal. So it's kind of exciting for us.
So scientifically, like what happens? Why does sugar remove hair?
Well, it's sugar, lemon, and water. So once it's cooked, it's very sticky. And so with those 3 ingredients boiled at the right temperature, basically it forms a ball, and it just continues you're able to move it back and forth. So scientifically it's cooked. That's basically the science. It's sugar, lemon, and water. That's it.
So then when you remove the mixture, the hair just comes right off.
Yeah.
Cool. And now does it eventually become a permanent solution, or is it something that you do?
Yeah. So the way we remove hair, we apply it against growth and we remove it in its natural direction. So with that being said, we're not bending the hair back at the point of removal. We're actually removing hair in the natural direction. So we're able to capture the roots and the inner root sheaths. So when you're continuing over time to get the roots, your follicles will deplete. So your hair is becoming thinner and thinner and thinner. That process takes time. For sure you're going to see a reduction, but definitely it's not a permanent solution because your hormones are always changing too. So, if you end up having a baby and you have a spike in your hormones, you may see some more hair growth at that specific time. But you'll definitely see a diminishing of the hair. It's much more manageable. Ingrowns become less of an issue, and it's just gentler on the skin in general. So,
yeah. How about men? Do you get men visiting you guys, or is it all women?
Yeah. So we have an awesome little male niche market. So, this has always been a little bit of an issue to find safe aesthetics for men. And you have those videos like the 40-year-old virgin, right? Where Steve Carell's on the bed and it's that scene where it's like it's horrifying and it turns people off, but I promise you that's not what it's like.
That is one of the funniest scenes ever.
It's so good.
Right?
The actual after, like the behind the scenes of that, it was a live scene, so that was actually very, very funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have a really great men's market. It's safe aesthetics again. We're not double dipping. The product isn't hot. We do a ton of Brazilian, so it's not just bikini for women. We're doing bikinis for men as well. Lots of eyebrows, backs, chest. Tons of cyclists come to see us, triathletes. We're removing all of their body hair. And we're trying to create now a take-home product called Groom, which is basically our sugar wrapped up in a little kit so that they can actually take that home with them if they don't feel comfortable to be able to come into the salon. But certainly at Sugar Moon, it's a totally welcoming environment. I have a super professional staff. So yeah, it's a big market for us.
That's awesome. Well, so you've had Sugar Moon for about 2 decades.
Yeah.
And so when, tell me about that journey. So you opened up one place, and now you're starting to franchise. So, tell us about the journey of growth.
Yeah. So I decided to reinvent myself at 28. So I actually went back to school for aesthetics. It wasn't like my experience as a teenager led me through that path, but I did end up going into school for the sciences, and then made my journey into the film industry, which is very strange. But I ended up going back to school. Subsequently, through all that time, I was coming back home to be sugared. And so when I decided to go back to school, I knew at that time I would have a little sugar shop in Toronto. So I borrowed $10,000 from my mom and rented this really cute little space. It was myself and another woman who had started. It was 2 girls, 2 rooms, and we became an overnight success in Toronto with the offerings of just sugaring at that time. And so there was nobody doing it in Toronto, no.
Wow.
So yes, we became media darlings, and my film industry background, we had a lot of celebrities come through our door with those connections, and which we still do. But yeah, we're now a 30-person female-led operation with 3 stores across the city, and we're ready to bring the successful business model out to other people, other owners, men or women, to be able to share that experience. So it's exciting, David.
That's awesome. When did you start to expand? How long did you do the first store before you said let's try to either corporately expand or franchise?
Yeah, so the stores in Toronto are all corporately owned. So we expanded into a bigger space after 2 years. And then, so the second store came at year 8, and the third store came at year 11. And so we've just stayed the course. And we had a trademark issue, which you knew about, which is what held us back from a massive expansion. Because it took a while to win my brand back. So we're good to go now.
Yeah, we've talked about that before. I'd love to share with our listeners. Tell us about that, I'll say, quote unquote, experience. You might describe it as otherwise, or put a couple, adjectives before the word, or adverbs before the word experience. No, adjectives before the word experience.
Yeah.
That, so you kind of fumbled the ball with your trademark, it sounds like.
Yeah. So again, I came from the School of Science and not business. And at that time, when we opened Sugar Moon, we had this massive vision. Basically, the vision is coming to fruition now, but we would have Sugar Moons all around the globe, and we were going to go and teach people. What we didn't know and understand was that we probably should have hired a business coach to really take us through, what intellectual property would look like and what we needed to do to make sure that our brand was safe and secure. So while I was having children and running the business, one of my competitors ended up putting my name on her bottles and trademarked it in the Canadian and the US trademarks office. And that was devastating for me. And so when we decided to go for an expansion, because we had an offer on the company to expand, was when we realized that we didn't have the rights to our name. And so we had to hire lawyers And that took about 5 years and $300,000
Oh,
in legal bills. And a lot of people really criticized that decision to really fight this person for all that time. So what happened through that was the advice was to basically drop the Sugar Moon name and find another name, trademark that, and move all your store and brand into this new name. And so while we were fighting for Sugar Moon's name back, we had to also look for a new name in the event that deal didn't come through. And so we also own Core Beauty as well on a worldwide level. But it was probably one of the most stressful times of my life. I had to, remortgage my house. I had to sell a property. You just don't even realize what you've gotten yourself into during those times. But I feel like it is behind me now. And if anyone wants to talk about their trademark issue, I'm your girl.
but you ended up winning in the long run.
Oh yeah. I won it back, but I had to pay for it. Basically, I paid her for it. So, yeah.
Yep. Interesting. So is she still in business using a different name now?
Well, she always had a business. She has her own business. And we don't do the same thing. She's a distributor and I'm a salon. And I don't really understand why she did it, but she obviously had her reasons I don't agree with. But I've never actually had anybody do anything like that. It was really troubling. Yep. So very bad business practice, but maybe someday I'll publicly thank her for being a pain in the butt. I don't know. We'll see.
Hey, we all have to earn our stripes. So
yes, I've earned many.
Yeah, you have to have the bad times, appreciate the good times, right?
Yeah. So I hope I'm on the other side of all of the nonsense and really I feel it coming now, all the goodness and everything that we're doing and putting our best steps forward. So, yeah,
I can feel it too. I can feel it.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So for our listeners who maybe are just starting out or, the first couple of years of their business, what would you tell them to do to avoid all the storm that you went through?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So there's a few things. One, you want to make sure that you have enough money saved. So definitely make sure that you have access to finances and then hire a business consultant, somebody in small business in and around what you do, to make sure that you really have crossed off, all your T's and dotted your I's to make sure that you're safe. And your name is everything. It's your brand. And so had I known those lessons early on, I would have obviously trademarked the name Sugar Moon, the sweet alternative to waxing, all of my slogans that we were using at that time. So I would definitely advise taking care of your name and brand and making sure that your plan is solid, have that reviewed. So that's what I would advise.
Awesome. No, that's great. And so is it expensive to trademark the name early on?
Oh gosh, no, not early on. It's really expensive when you have to fight for it though.
Yeah. So
yeah. There's a little bit of money. Expensive. It really just depends, right? For me, it wasn't just one name. There were 5 names, 5 slogans, and different countries. And so that definitely was much more expensive for sure. And then it's not just that, it's wares and all of everything that you're using the name on needs to be registered with the trademarks office in every category. So that's where it gets a little bit pricey. But I have great lawyers and I think they did a nice job for us through that. Yeah.
So nip it in the bud. Hear that, Avanti listeners? Do it now if you haven't already done it, right? So Paola, you are, you're the founder. I know you. We're friends. I'm going to call you a visionary. You want to work on the business, not in it. So, now, having a business now for almost 20 years, what is, looking back and what you're doing now, what is your favorite part of the business?
So for me, it's actually spending time in the lab and formulating. I absolutely love bringing really cool products to the market. And that's where I love to spend my time now. But I also love to teach. So given that I have 30 staff members, I love to teach them all their skills around how to remove hair, eyebrow techniques. Um, and so those are my two passions is basically formulating products and teaching in terms of like the operations. But where I'm going is I actually love meeting people who want to own businesses and share in my journey, and hopefully they'll get on board with our vision. And I'd love to be able to watch people be very successful. So those are some of my favorite things right now.
I love it. Well, I'm excited for you to expand through franchising all over the place.
Do you want to own one in Rochester?
Well, there's a lot of Italians here and a lot of hair, right? So I got blessed, I have to say. I'm one of the Italian guys that didn't get too hairy, but certainly have a lot of friends that have some hair to spare. So
No, you have
maybe
good
it's a good idea.
eyebrows, David. You have very good eyebrows. I'm looking.
Oh, you're sweet. You're sweet. Yeah, I don't have the unibrow, right? So,
Nope, you're perfect.
I don't know. I got lucky. So if you so really, I'm listening to you about what you enjoy doing the most, and I know you love people and the vision of expanding. But I'm also feeling that inner scientist in you, right? Like being in the lab, the mad scientist creating the new product. I mean, that's something real special for you, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I have a great chemist that we work with here in Mississauga. He's awesome, and I can come to him with any idea. And, to say, I need this product to do this. And it can't have all of these ingredients in it for so many reasons. And now that marijuana is now legal here, we're able to infuse beauty products with CBDs, CBD oils. And so that's become a new passion of mine. And so, yeah, definitely, I would say the lab is where I find some joy. There's nothing I love more than to hear our clients say, "Oh my gosh, I love your products." So Sugar Moon products are still our #1 bestsellers in all 3 stores, which says something. It really means that they've gotten on board, but the products are awesome. And, they really are formulated well. They're formulated here, and we're quality controlled. So I think there's a lot of value in what we're doing. Yeah.
So people could come into one of your Sugar Moon salons, and then your team could do the work, or they could take the product home and kind of self-administer. Is that correct?
We actually have a lot of home care, not necessarily around hair removal, but we have a lot of lotions and scrubs and washes. We also have a Sweet Moon, as I mentioned, a teen brand that has like bath salts, bath bombs. We have a Baby Moon line, which is a baby organic skincare line. So moisture repair bombs and diaper repair relief. And so I've sort of built my brand around myself having children too. So myself as a teen, and then of course I have children. So we decided to call our products Baby Moon. And so we have a line of Sugar Moon, Groom, Sweet Moon, and Baby Moon products that we make here in Toronto, Mississauga.
Are they all trademarked?
They are.
Look at
All
that.
of them.
Look at that learning, huh?
So I hope that this will also help the franchises, right? So
Absolutely.
it's not just a hair removal boutique. This is a brand and a lifestyle. So we have, products for the whole family, which is just fantastic.
When did you, looking back at your childhood, when did you, know or think that you were going to become an entrepreneur?
Oh, that's a good question. I come from a long line of entrepreneurs, actually. The Girotti family has 2 massive businesses here. So we own a high grade, and then we have a machine shop. And so my late dad, he was an entrepreneur. And so I was able to walk into this like great place that said Girotti Machines on it. And I got to feel what that felt like as a little girl. So I didn't know at that time I had that in me, but certainly I come from a long line of them. And my sisters are both entrepreneurs as well. So we had instilled in us at a young age to work hard, no excuses, get up, get out the door. There's no calling in sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I was very lucky. That's how I became a football fan. He was a great mentor to me.
Your dad?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And you're living in the Toronto area, and you are an avid Cleveland Browns fan.
Sure am.
And the Buffalo Bills are your second favorite team.
They might not be.
As far as I know, just for me. Come on, Paola. Come on.
They'll be today. They'll be today.
I appreciate that. So I didn't know that you have two sisters that are entrepreneurs as well. What are their businesses?
So actually, my older sister is an esthetician as well, but she lives on the West Coast. And my younger sister works in the film industry. And so she flips from show to show and is a production manager and a showrunner. So yeah, we're all pretty independent. My poor mother, she's like, which one of you is going to be the doctor? So, she's very supportive.
Maybe one of her grandkids will be a doctor, right? So.
I'm pretty sure she says this to my son almost every day. So you're going to go to university and be a doctor? And
yeah, that's a surefire way to make him not want to be one, right? So
I think for my mom looking at us, we chose such a tough path. Being an entrepreneur is great. But as you know, David, right, you need to be able to be this resilient to take your lumps. And there's obstacles coming at you at all times. And there is really no normal day, right? You'll have some good days and then you have some obstacles coming at you. It's not for everybody. I think for me, I didn't realize how hard things could be at times. I think that my experience as being an entrepreneur now have shaped me to be who I am today. And it's been a journey. Let's just put it that way. A good journey.
So it's not for everybody because it is a roller coaster journey. But if
it's not for everybody,
it is wonderful. I jokingly call it my drug of choice, right? The highs, the lows. Who are some of your role models as you've been growing as an entrepreneur?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, I think for me, my late dad was a massive role model for me, for sure. And then along the way, I've met some really great business owners. One of them right now, who's very instrumental in my life, is Christine Kelly of Little Kickers. It's a pretty large company out of Britain. And she's franchising all over the world at the moment. So I really look up to her in all aspects of an entrepreneur, mother, friend. She's also super fun to hang out with and reminds me of the joys of what we do, and the freedoms that we have. So, but I would say definitely one of my larger influences was my late dad, for sure. 100%. He is.
What is some of the advice that he gave you that sticks with you today?
So one of the things my dad would say to me would be, if you are, because we tend to dwell a little bit, right? And so he would always say, look, if you're always thinking about the past, your head's turning backward and you're not looking the right way. You need to always face forward in life and let the past be. You cannot change it. So why do you keep looking at it? There's nothing you can do. And I'm trying more and more to influence my kids in that way as well. And also my staff. It's really good advice that if your head's turned, if you're always looking backward, you're going the wrong way.
Yeah,
so
I love it. Yeah, no, very good advice. Someone said when you're looking in the past, you're looking in the pasture, and there's a lot of crap, right? So you don't.
Yeah, I could be a bit of a dweller, that's for sure. I think I still need to practice this as much as I talk about it, but definitely that would be something that he would say to me.
So what, so you're, as you mentioned, a single mom, 2 young kids, running a business that's growing like crazy. You're a busy woman. What are some of your personal habits for success so that you somehow keep it all together?
Yeah. So one, I have a routine. I have a morning routine. I get up earlier than anybody else here.
What time do you get up?
4:00.
Yeah, every day. Good for you. What time do you go to bed?
About 9:15. Okay. Yeah.
Let's go 6-7 hours.
Is that 7 hours? Yeah, I think it's about 7 hours.
6-7 hours, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does your morning routine look like?
So I've really gone into meditation. So myself, Oprah, and Deepak, we have a bit of a date around that time. So I'm not actually up, like getting up. I actually stay laying down and I listen to one of the 21-day meditations every day. And so, yeah, that's kind of cool because I start my day with a really good sense of purpose, a refocus, and then I get up. I'd like to say that I exercise, David, but I'm working on that. I think for me, once I'm up, I make a coffee and then, you get to your computer, but definitely I have a morning routine. I would also say that I try not to lose my sense of humor. So that's a pretty big important thing. So I typically have a laugh with a girlfriend. I read the funnies. I'm definitely very well prepped in food. I have a balanced diet with my kids, but like I have everything in containers and I have a routine on Sundays to do that. And let's see, I sleep.
Mhm.
So that would be a good routine. And yeah, I think the most important is leaning on my friends and family. So I'm really quite tight with all of them, and I have great girlfriends for 30 plus years. And I definitely feel like I surround myself with good people. So they keep me sane.
That's excellent. That's one thing we say at Avanti is don't go at it alone. So good for you.
Yeah, you need your friends and family.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, and you need your sleep. You were half joking about that, but it's true. There's a lot of experts that say sleep is the most important thing. Put that first, 6 to 8 hours a night, and then
Yeah.
get enough water and exercise and proper nutrition. But more and more people are saying sleep is the first thing. And
Yeah. And actually being able to stay asleep, right? So,
yeah,
um, yeah, I really love this Deepak and Oprah meditation. I'm going to send you the link. It's so good.
please do. Please do.
Yeah, I will. I will.
I have a really good friend who's been on my podcast, and I was just on his. His name is Rob Dube. Have you heard of Rob?
No.
So Rob is a great friend of mine. He's in the Small Giants community. Met him through there about 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yep. And Rob used to have some anxiety issues and eczema and just,
Oh, wow.
some other things going on. And he started meditating, and he realized it was helping tremendously. His eczema went away. His anxiety got a lot better, and he was just more comfortable with himself, and confident. And he's really, he still runs his business, which is called Image One, with his partner Joel. But he has a whole movement going on now called Do Nothing. And so he's written a book called Do Nothing.
I'm going to write that down.
Podcast with our mutual friend Stephen Westner called the Do Nothing Podcast, which I was just on. And he does I believe it's a 4, maybe 5 day silent retreat in the mountains of Colorado. And you literally don't look or talk to anybody for 5 days.
Could you do it? Could you do it?
He says I could. He says, and I would love the challenge, and I will do it someday. Maybe 2019 will be my year. I do want to do it. And he's
That's
like,
awesome.
I know a couple guys that went through it, and they just said it was like a control alt reset for your brain and your body, and I could use that. So
yeah,
that's excellent. So what gets you up in the morning, from a business perspective? What is your why? Just what gets you so passionate, excited about coming to work?
Yeah. So I think for me, I just have such a passion for what I do that, I love to inspire people and I love to teach. And so I get up in the morning knowing that either a client is coming in to see me, or my staff is coming to be taught by me, but definitely I'm touching somebody's life on a daily basis. And so I feel like I'm doing some good with people, with either listening to their stories as a client, as it's like the bartender thing, right? They come in, they share something with you, and they leave, and you're listening or providing some kind of thought to what they're saying. But for me, I also inspire my kids too, right? They're watching me run a very big company and run our lives here. And I really feel like that's what gets me out of bed, is that I am on a massive mission to help people. So.
Well, and anybody that knows you, and I've known you for, I want to say at least a couple of years, knows that you are just a sweet soul. I mean, Sugar Moon's a perfect name for your company, right?
Uh,
It's sweet. But no, anybody that knows Paola, reach out to her if you haven't yet. Just a sweet, good, sincere person that literally, I think if you could give somebody a kidney, you would do it. You're just a nice person.
Yeah.
So, before we close, I want to ask you some of your favorite books. I love getting. I know you're a reader because we've talked about books before. What are some of your favorite books that have made an impact on you?
Okay, so I think we talked about this once before, but I love Good to Great.
Yep.
So it's yeah, by Jim Collins. But I really am loving Blue Ocean Strategy.
Mm-hmm. Why do you love
Blue Ocean.
Yep.
I think it's just called Blue Ocean, but I love the strategy around the Blue Ocean. And so in my space in beauty, it's a marketing book, but it's very, very competitive. And so for me, I've found that book very, very helpful in terms of finding innovative ways to create my own blue oceans inside of Sugar Moon, and to be able to take that out to market for new franchises and opportunities. So I absolutely love this book.
So
have you read it?
I have not read it.
I have to send it to you.
A lot of people have told me about it. So give our listeners, what do they mean by blue ocean?
Yeah. So in business, right, you can really be focused on the red ocean, where you're always looking at your competitors, trying to keep up with what they're doing. And you might be making choices to change your business because that's what you think you should be doing because your competitors are doing that. And what in the blue ocean, they give you some strategies to really look at, value innovation would be one of the topics in the book, and finding ways to create strategies to continue to change your business so that you never worry about the competition. You're only very focused on what you're awesome at, and you spend time in that blue ocean, creating that, not worrying about what's happening on the red ocean. So that's kind of maybe not a great summation, but.
No, it is. It is. I mean, it goes back to personally, what is your superpower, and what is your business's superpower, and focusing on maximizing those instead of looking over your shoulder at what's going on next door, right?
Yeah. I'm going to send you the book for Christmas. I think you'll love it.
So sweet. Thank you so much. See what I mean, folks? So sweet. So Paola, if people want to get in touch with you, learn more about you, Sugar Moon.
You want to come in and get sugared?
Come in and get sugared? Absolutely. Some Italian.
If you want to come to Toronto to be sugared?
You could sugar them right up. Absolutely. So how do they get in touch with you?
So my email is probably the best. So Paola, Paola, at sugarmoonsalon.com. And if you wanted to check out any of our products as well that we make, you can go to sugarmoon.store. All of our products are available there. But if you do want to make the trek to Toronto, definitely email me. I'd be happy to meet you. So
and I will verify that. I will validate that. Absolutely. So well, Paola, this has been super, super fantastic. Thank you so much
for having me, David.
And what you're doing in the world. We truly appreciate it. You're got a great product, and you're making a great impact as well.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be your guest.
Excellent.
Thanks for this.
Absolutely. And I also want to thank the Avanti listeners for your time. Always appreciate you guys for taking out some time out of your week to listen to the Avanti Entrepreneur Podcast. If you want to learn more, I've got some show notes about Paola at AvantiEntrepreneurGroup.com. And I have over 100 other podcasts as well, with the recordings and the show notes and a whole bunch of more resources over at AvantiEntrepreneurGroup.com. Thank you, Paola. Thank you, listeners. Everybody, make it a great day and stay awesome.
Thank you for listening. Head over to AvantiEntrepreneurGroup.com for show notes and more helpful advice from entrepreneurs like you. Continue to find your entrepreneurial rhythm at the Avanti Entrepreneur Podcast.